Hello everyone, and welcome back to another short episode from OpenUp at the Workplace. I'm Nathalia Lopez, psychologist at OpenUp, and today we'll be talking about the psychological impact of work pressure. In evolutionary psychology, stress responses originate from an actual need for survival. In a very basic explanation, stress responses were there to protect you from danger and predators. They help us to react quickly and think fast. Luckily, we don't have to escape danger and predators nowadays. But there are different things that can still cause a similar response in our brains. In a work environment, it can be phrases like reach this quarter's target, keep clients up to date on their projects, or meet deadlines for presentations. Those are all very common phrases, and in fact, they can carry an underlying message of pressure. In the short term, this might be effective as a bit of stress could actually be beneficial. However, in the long run, it may lead to having a chronic stress response and thinking of it as a normal way of getting the job done. According to some research based on the European Working Conditions Survey, work pressure has increased in most European Union countries since 1995. One of the most common manifestations of work pressure could be work-related stress. How do you recognize that? Well, work-related stress can show a number of symptoms. You can recognize it on physical symptoms, such as sleep disturbance or headaches, but also an emotional symptom like anxiety or irritability. Other symptoms are intellectual symptoms, which can be having a lack of motivation and concentration, or even isolation behaviors. As psychologists, we often see the symptoms during our consultations. Usually, people have been under a lot of work pressure for several months because of the workload, or reaching end of quarter deadlines, and feel overall tired and unmotivated. A very common approach at OpenUp for this kind of situations is to divide and conquer. As a first step, we work on acknowledging and identifying the feelings and thoughts, while making sure that we offer people space to let their emotions out. Then, we make a plan about the goals and priorities. What is it that you want to communicate to your manager? What changes do you need within your job description? The more specific and clear, the better. As a last step, we usually organize the thoughts together and help them to decide how they would like to communicate them. As a manager or an HR professional, you can use this approach with your team as well. Following the principle of divide and conquer, one of the most important first steps will be to ensure clarity in your goals and direction. Once this is set, you can work on breaking your larger goals into digestible micro-goals. For example, instead of having a goal as improve employees' engagement in 2 months, you could reward smaller goals such as conducting 2 employee engagement surveys, or establishing one clear communication channel. Having smaller goals to tackle can help your team's performance without reaching severe levels of stress or burnout. Another approach to consider is to create space for mistakes and flexibility when setting goals. As an organization, for example, instead of having a very rigid target number, it's important to include adaptability and understanding on your goals. A very common goal tends to be achieving an 80% retention rate. This can feel overwhelming for everyone involved. However, if you define and communicate clear range instead of a fixed number, the message changes significantly. For example, you could communicate it like, we aim to achieve an 80% retention rate this year. It's important to note that the company and teams can still operate effectively if we achieve a 75% retention rate. However, if our retention rate falls below 65, we will have to explore alternatives A, B, and C to keep stability. This framework lets your team know that 80% is the goal, but that there is a margin of error of 20%. And while allowing that space might be a bit scary at the beginning, it will create a safer and more innovative space for your employees. To sum it all up, we can say that there are 3 takeaways from today's episode. The first one, feeling stressed for a long period of time can be harmful both for individuals and for organizations. The second one is recognizing the stressors is the first step in solving the problem. And the last one is working with smaller goals and flexible ranges can help reduce the stress within a team or an organization. I hope that you found these insights helpful and can use them in your day-to-day. Let's focus on bringing our stress levels down and open up at the workplace.